What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Johnny. Back in here with one more reaction video, ladies and gentlemen. And today I got a nerdy video for you. Hope you enjoy this one. Thank you for rocking with me. Now, over the last couple days, I've seen this meme shared. I think it was on LinkedIn, I seen it on Instagram, or somewhere else. And it was saying slavery was not good for black people. And I'm not sure why that's like a topic for debate or discussion in 2023 and why we keep trying to put our perspectives on the past. However, I have found some books that have changed my perspective on slavery a little bit, and I wanted to share them with the masses because I love you all. The first book is Black Fortunes, the story of the first 6 African Americans who survived slavery and became millionaires by Shamari Wills. Go check that book out. I was shocked when I found out they was getting the bag way back then. And the second one is this book right here that we're going to listen to today, The Negro Problem. It's an essay by a bunch of guys. I've only heard of Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois before this book. But now these other guys got some dope stories as well. And I think there's a lot of information that's always overlooked or hidden or swept under the rug. So make sure you get in that library and find out what you can. This is your first time to the channel. Get on in here, baby. As I love to say, we are simply spirits encased in human flesh, that is all. Trying to figure out this thing called life. Not nearly as divided or as demonic as the mainstream media tries to make it seem every single day. So if you dig what you hear from this information from 1908, do me a favor and share it far and wide.
Section 1 of the Negro Problem. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by James K. White.
James K. White got a
The
smooth
Negro
voice.
Problem. Section 1. Industrial Education for the Negro by Booker T. Washington, Principal of Tuskegee Institute. The necessity for the races learning the difference between being worked and working. He would not confine the Negro to industrial life, but believes that the very best service which anyone can render to what is called the higher education is to teach the present generation to work and save. This will create the wealth from which alone can come leisure and the opportunity for higher education. One of the most fundamental and far-reaching deeds that has been accomplished during the last quarter of a century has been that by which the Negro has been helped to find himself and to learn the secrets of civilization. To learn that there are a few simple cardinal principles upon which a race must start its upward course, unless it would fail, and its last estate be worse than its first. It has been necessary for the Negro to learn the difference between being worked and working. To learn that being worked meant degradation, while working means civilization. That all forms of labor are honorable, and all forms of idleness disgraceful. It has been necessary for him to learn that all races that have got upon their feet have done so largely by laying an economic foundation, and in general by beginning in a proper cultivation and ownership of the soil. 40 years ago, my race emerged from slavery into freedom. If, in too many cases, the Negro race began development at the wrong end, it was largely because neither white nor black properly understood the case. Nor is it any wonder that this was so. For never before in the history of the world had just such a problem been presented as that of the two races at the coming of freedom in this country. For 250 years, I believe the way for the redemption of the Negro was being prepared through industrial development. Through all those years, the Southern white man did business with the Negro in a way that no one else has done business with him. In most cases, if a Southern white man wanted a house built, he consulted a Negro mechanic about the plan and about the actual building of the structure. If he wanted a suit of clothes made, he went to a Negro tailor, and for shoes, he went to a shoemaker of the same race. In a certain way, every slave plantation in the South was an industrial school. On these plantations, young colored men and women were constantly being trained not only as farmers, but as carpenters, blacksmiths, wheelwrights, brick masons, engineers, cooks, laundresses, sewing women, and housekeepers. I do not mean in any way to apologize for the curse of slavery, which was a curse to both races. But in what I say about industrial training in slavery, I am simply stating facts. This training was crude and was given for selfish purposes. It did not answer the highest ends because there was an absence of mental training in connection with the training of the hand. To a large degree, though, this business contact with the Southern white man and the industrial training on the plantations left the Negro at the close of the war in possession of nearly all the common and skilled labor in the South.
So what I got from that is there was good and bad, and we were in power of all the, the manual labor, and it has me thinking now, what if all our schools was forcing, quote unquote, all our young children to learn about artificial intelligence, to learn coding, and not having them question their gender or fighting over their skin color, right? So it's like a catch-22. He also said something to where the principles of success can help one generation be better than the next, or if they don't apply those principles, they'll be worse than the next. And it got me thinking about my own family, because my grandmother, my dad's mom, she was married 4 different times. But the last guy that she was with, because every time that she always had a baby, and she was married. But she owned her own house. They had an RV to where they traveled around America and would send us a postcard from everywhere. And then it has me thinking about, my father and how he didn't follow any principles of success. He had 2 children with my sister's mama, and then he left their mama and was messing with my mama, and nobody got married. And it has me think about my mother's side of the family, to where my grandma was a single mama with 3 kids by herself, so she struggled. And my daddy, because my grandma wasn't with his original father, and she was getting beat back in the day, and you know how that went. But because my mother and father didn't build a strong foundation, that's why me and my brother came from unbalanced structure and Section 8 and violence and poverty and homeless shelters and all that. But now that we aware that we have to plant proper seeds, have good soil, have good foundations for our children to survive, now the lights is on, it's time to shine, right? Like, we can't be saying Black Lives Matter, but we aborting our babies. We have to tell young girls to stop just, having sex with any and every man, because that's what the music is promoting, and no ring, no offspring. You need to be married. We need to tell young men sexual discipline is the key to freedom, and everything that look good ain't good for you. And there's a lot of principles that, as Booker T. Washington says, that we learned from those plantations, though they was given to us harshly for somebody else's benefit. Now look at what has been given to us still for somebody else's benefit. And until you wake up, your pain, your trauma will always be used for someone else to exploit you for their agenda. And whether it's in America right now, like I said, I don't really know what's going on across the world, but there's so many false perspectives. And you have to be able to change the way you look at things. You have to be bigger and back up and see the bigger picture, so you're not walking around in a state of anger, in a state of fear, because that's what the world wants. It wants us broken. It wants us fighting over each other and arguing over slavery back in the day. And now I can listen to this book and it's like, you know what? That's true. Slavery was a curse to the white man and the black man. Because the same way as black people walking around right now saying, we were slaves, the white people got to walk around like, oh my God, man, why did my grandpa do that? Why did my ancestors? They can't call them on the phone and say, hey, Uncle Ben Franklin, why did you own them slaves? Uncle Thomas Jefferson. Why did, they can't have those conversations. So to make them walk around feeling guilty is asinine at this point. Just the same way to walk around and say, my ancestors, come on, cuz we got to disconnect from that. We got to want to evolve. Life goes forward, not backward. And we have to break free of this negative matrix, this negative paradigm that wants you sitting here arguing over the same things. Like I said, my grandma owned an RV. She died when I was 14, and she traveled all around America with a postcard. So if my black grandma was able to be married 4 times, retire, and travel all around America, you can't tell me in 2023 you limited. Her house was burned down by the Klan back in Indiana, and they just relocated to Kansas. No complaining, no crying, no to what? Nah, cuz. So if they could be that tough back in the day, if you could hear Booker T. Washington speak like this, tell me what's your limitations. And that's of any race right now. This is the best time to be alive. You can Google anything. You can chat GPT anything. So don't let this world have you fighting over low vibrational things. You got to think anyway. Think big. Read The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. Read Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. Color, Communism, and Common Sense by Manning Johnson. The Science of Being Great by Wallace D. Wattles. There is a lot of valuable information in these books. And TV wants to keep you dumbed down. TikTok and most of these social sites, they keep you dumbed down. And my videos, I don't put a lot of mainstream drama out there. I don't care that much. I want to enlighten you. I want you to be better. When you in your room with the door closed and your phone is turned over and you in there just solely by yourself, I want you to feel good about yourself. Because that's all that really matters in life. That's the only thing that's real. You can have all the money, cars, clothes, everything else. But if you don't feel good with you broken, you lonely. So I'm throwing love. I'm throwing positive energy your way. Thanks for watching this video. I know I went on a little rant at the end, but, man, be the change you wish to see. Never be too proud to pray. Never be too proud to pray, man. Get in that Bible. It's a lot of valuable information in there. I love you all. We outie. Peace.